The series of all series, the battle of all battles, the contest that we've all been waiting for, lip smacking, right? The Border Gavaskar Trophy. India playing Australia the first game, which is going to be in Perth on the 22nd. Now, both India and Australia, well, the thing that everyone's looking forward to is the 11 that both teams will play. DK, I think that the Australia 11 pretty much just kind of picks itself, right? They've got 13 players there. I think if you were to choose their 11, you'd probably say the three quicks that they usually play with, their Tridev, their triumvirate of Starc, Hazelwood and Cummins. You'd play them probably with Nathan Lyon?
Yes, Nathan Lyon. I think the ones who won't play would be a choice between Nathan McSweeney and Josh Inglis. I would go for Nathan McSweeney because he's batted at number 3, but Josh Inglis has scored 100 in the recent Shield game. So that could pit him as the opener along with Usman Khawaja, and Scott Poland is definitely not going to play unless there's an injury.
Okay. And for India, well, this is the tough one, right? Because it's a big squad. But Zach, out of this squad right now, we don't have confirmation of Rohit, whether he's going to be there or not. It's still over a week to go, so you could still see the captain coming out there. But let's just talk to you about the bowling attack you'd like to see.
See, the real question for them is going to be whether they want to play two spinners or not. And, we're just going by the venue. Perth, we know that the bowlers usually dominate the fast bowlers. I'm talking about you have extra bounce as well. So I think they'll have to choose there. And whether Nitish Reddy is going to be part of that 11 or not is something which we have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But they will try and find 4 fast bowling options. That will be their initial thought, is what I'm expecting. Just presume that, if Rohit is not going to be there, which was the talk, then who opens is another question which they will be trying to find the answer to. KL Rahul, is that the option which they want to go with the experience, or Abhimanyu Ishwaran? I know is something which they'll be thinking about. I feel Abhimanyu Ishwaran should be the straight fit for that role since KL now, lately we've seen that he's been batting in the middle order.
Yeah.
You don't want to shift that because it's only for the first test, as we hear. So those kind of questions they have answer to. If they're how they are thinking and which direction they are going to go in is something which is going to be very important. Whether they're going for the stability, or if they go for too many changes. If they go ahead with, say, KL, I think they will be showing their desperation. And then they'll be showing their weak hand is what I feel. You got to have the faith in your processes and just back the playing 11, which you feel more suited for the conditions rather than thinking too far ahead of the series.
If you had to pick 3 pacers from that lineup to play at the Perth wicket, who are the 3 that you would pick? Oh, actually, you should do 2. Jasprit Bumrah has 1.
3 are pretty much clear, isn't it? Bumrah, Siraj and Akashdeep picked themselves up. So those 3 seamers are going to be there. The 4th is going to be an interesting one. Whether you go in with Harshit Rana, or you take Nitish Reddy's route. As increasing that batting depth is something which they will be looking at.
DK, if I was to, there is, I don't know the exact calculation, but India needs to win this series quite comprehensively to stay in the hunt for the WTC. I think it's almost 4-0 or some such. Basically, something just they have to play out of their skins and make sure that Australia doesn't come in at all if India wants a chance to play the WTC final. Now, my question to you is, do you as a player let that play on your mind? Because that could be counterproductive, or do you just go game by game? What do you do then in that situation?
I think India is going to have to do exceedingly well to even get close to the scoreline that they require for the World Test Championship final. There's no point thinking about it. If it happens, it will happen. They had their chance when they obviously played the home series, and that was the big one, so that they could put as little pressure as they would want on an Australian series, because they know how big the series is and how tough it is to win there. So at this point, I don't think the World Test Championship is their priority. I think that's a ship that's probably sailed at the moment. They need to focus on winning this series and take it one test match at a time. The one player that I would really like to see is Dhruv Jurel somehow making it to that 11. I think he's batting well. He looked very compact in seeming conditions in that tour game, and I would like to see him start the series.
It's a tough call though, right? I mean, that batting lineup is chock-a-block.
Yeah, it is. It is. For me, as I look at it, I have a feeling, Rohit, I don't know. I've seen in social media, they say that he's been blessed with a baby boy. Congratulations to him first up. And if that means that it's happened, will he be going? And then obviously he'd be the opener and he'd start along with Yashasvi Jaiswal. Then we have Shubman Gill at 3. The question is, Virat Kohli at 4, Rishabh Pant at 5. I would play Dhruv Jurel at number 6. I think at this point of time, he looks a very solid and a compact player. That's how I would look at it.
That's a good call, but that's right. He has been looking good in whatever we've been reading from all the journalists who are present there as well. So yeah, will he get a chance in this chock-a-block lineup? All right, guys, I don't want to ask you this, so I'm not going to ask you.
Good.
The prediction, scoreline prediction for the series. I'm not asking you. All right? You want to say it? It's up to you.
I don't want to say it.
Zach has backed out immediately. Zach, I can see Zach moonwalking out of the studio. He's in the car now. Tough prediction. DK, are you going to stick your neck out?
I feel Australia is going to get this one. I can't say what the scoreline is, but the odds are stacked in favor of Australia as we sit here.
Yeah. I spoke with Adam Gilchrist on his birthday yesterday, and he said there's such a build-up in Australia. There's so much excitement about this series. And he said it's very exciting because some of these Australian players, or most of these Australian players, have not tasted a win against India. Right?
Yeah.
They've just not.
And because of the result against New Zealand, they feel that they have a chance. And that's why it's very hard to predict. You look at what Indian team has done on the previous 2 tours. They've seen a lot of success, so they have that confidence to go back to. So I think you'll have to wait for that first test to get over, maybe first 2 tests.
Yeah.
I think first test will give you a glimpse of where things are heading.
Yeah.
Because if you go by the last 2 tours, it's not that experience mattered that much. They still put up a great fight and managed to win the series, in spite of having pretty much no experience in that squad.
Depleted resources.
So which means that if they're able to dig deep, and if they're able to have that faith and belief that they can trouble the Australian side under home conditions, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
It's just about creating that kind of faith in the whole group, and to be able to fight. Because in Australia, one thing really matters. You have to go session by session.
Yeah.
But you got to keep on fighting. So that is something which is going to be very important. Over the period of 5 tests, is going to take a lot of energy out of this group. But if they're ready and desperate to get to the WTC finals, then they will truly deserve it if they dig deep.
There is.
So it's a great point, GK, what Zach is saying. This first test, in many ways, will decide the series. And I say that because if India win the test match, then definitely the ghosts of Australia's past will come back to haunt them. The last 2 series in Australia, they have lost. And if Australia end up winning that test and comfortably, then they will get the momentum because their support staff has changed, the player has changed, the mindsets of the player has changed, and that will just roll on for the rest of the series, and it will get very hard for India.
Yeah, this also could be the last Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia for a lot of players on both sides. You can see a lot of senior players, a lot of players, close to 35 and beyond. So, and that's sometimes hardened competitors on both sides that can also bring out the best in them. Zach, when you know it's your last showing, it's somehow you just get that second win, that third win, just the extra fuel, right?
Well, when you are in it, GK, I don't think you're thinking about all those kind of things.
Okay.
Those are the external factors which are always lingering around.
Yeah.
As an individual, I've always believed that you're as good as your last game. For a sports person, for a cricket player, you got to be aware of that fact.
Yeah.
And that's something which keeps you pushing as well. And sometimes you don't know how far you're going to go. So if you're having that kind of approach, and as professionals, you are pretty much used to cutting that outside noise.
Yeah.
So it's just a process which you have to follow. Yeah, outside, everyone is looking at the series that way. Also, thanks to the result, what has happened in the previous series for the Indian team, is bringing out a lot of question marks, a lot of doubt. But I think as a group, it's very important that you just stay on course, you stick to the processes, and end of the day, it's just about performances. If you're able to put up the performances, no one can touch you.